Welcome to Generation Overlap. This is what happens when two generations sit down and discuss what's happening in this world, what's happening in this world with politics and celebrities sometimes.
That's right.
And so, in Generation Overlap together, bring together the lived experience of Gen X and the fresh perspective of Gen Z to explore the current events, cultures, and the shifting world we share. My name is Trey Gold, and I'm Gen Z, or as some people call it, Zoomers. And this is my mom, Dr. Shauna Payne Gold, Gen Gen X. This is a micro podcast. This isn't about this micro podcast isn't about agreeing. It's about understanding. Each, it's about understanding. Each episode highlights where generations collide, where they connect, and how those overlaps, how those overlaps shape the way we see politics, technology, justice, and everyday life. This week, we're talking about Gen Z slang. So I'll get us started with a few words that I'll search up. And so I know, Doc, Dr. Shauna Pangold, that you might not hear about most of these, but do you sometimes hear some of these words when you're scrolling on Instagram
hmm
or TikTok or
Yeah,
tweet?
out of this list that you provided for today, there's only one of them that I've heard of, which is the Gen Z stare. That's the only one I've heard of out of this whole list.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because it was an article that was written in, I believe it was in Forbes magazine, that was talking to people like me, Gen Xers and other generations, older generations, talking about what happens in job interviews when they interview Gen Zers and they just get this blank stare and trying to figure out how do you respond? What do you do with that? So, anyway, take us through your list of words, but even with the Gen Z stare, I'm still not quite sure what it is. So, educate me.
Yes. Yes, this first one is a slang term that did come from a movie that recently come out, Wicked for it wasn't in the movie, but it came from the series that actually came from a screenplay, Wicked,
Uh, okay.
Wicked, and it came from an interview about Wicked for Good, Part Two. The actor
Mm-hmm.
that did play Madame Warble,
Mm-hmm.
she did Madame Warble, Flip It Around, Wicked Witch. So she made her hands into threes with like this,
Mm-hmm.
did it up, did it
Mm-hmm.
down like this, and then flipped it upside down.
Oh, okay.
So mainly it
Okay.
became a dance trend because someone did take that and added and made it into a short song
Mm-hmm.
and people would dance to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which it would start out with them like standing and like in a pose and like doing Madame Marble, flip it around, Wicked Witch. And then if it was like two people, they would either do four hands or two, and then they would be like flipping their wrist around, flipping it upside
Okay.
down,
Okay.
and then they
So
would start dancing.
okay, so this is kind of part of the tail end of the entire Wicked movement that's going on right now. So that
Yes.
makes sense. That makes sense. Okay.
Yes, and mainly someone took it and cut it up into pieces and added beats and drums and made it into
Oh.
this like song. Some people are like
Uh-huh.
they should they should re-release the Wicked movie in a few years, uh, and at the end they should tell everybody to stay, and then it's just a collage of people doing Madame Marble and M flipping around the.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I gotcha. I
Mhm.
gotcha. All right. All right, cool. That's I see what you're saying as far as, the larger kind of
Yes,
universe of Wicked and the story and how
yes,
it influences culture. And yeah, we know it's all over
yeah,
social media
and it
too. So yeah.
influences, yeah, and it influences and make people love Wicked more
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. I
because they see
gotcha.
other people that like the same thing that they do, and they can connect as a community.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Sounds good. Sounds good. And for our listeners or folks that are watching right now, um, especially for our neurodivergent followers, if you're listening right now and you hear a little clicking going on, please know that Trey is over there stimming a little bit, and we're okay with that. Hopefully, you're possibly stimming as well as you're listening to us. So please know that is perfectly acceptable, and we want to invite everybody that's a listener of ours. You don't have to be outside of the neurodivergent sphere to enjoy our podcast. So we hope you don't mind that because we don't mind that, right? But now tell me about the Gen Z stare because let me tell you, Trey,
And
if I have to interview folks, because I know I'm going to have to interview interns and other people that I have to work with, and it's probably going to come up and I want to be prepared. So
yes,
what is it?
from what I've heard, for me, I am on a 50-50 fence with it.
Okay. All right.
Maybe for sometimes it's mainly 50% of the time for me, it's like not even being disrespectful. But that was after I heard about what it
Mm,
was really about because some people tell, some people explain in TikTok videos of why people do the Gen Z stare. It it because they tell us that some older generations like say questions that that have answers.
okay.
They have they have they say obvious questions that have answers. As of one, where one lady was at the store, right?
Okay.
She she had like her kids with her. She was like, "Why do I have to pay taxes on my food? I already paid taxes."
Oh
When
no.
it's tax, yes, but those are taxes for other things, for like your
That's right.
electricity bills and stuff. It does not cover groceries.
Right. It covers like firefighters and police officers and
Yeah,
roads and streets and bridges,
yeah.
not that.
So then
Yeah,
people like don't know what to do. So they're like,
I got you.
because you're asking a question that does not need an answer because you've been paying taxes for over a few years and you know that you have to pay taxes on groceries even when you've already paid your taxes.
And see, you know what? See, this goes into, Trey, what I've always challenged, which is as much as I would like to say that everybody has some level of common sense. Some, I just have to say they don't. That common
Mhm.
sense is not common. And so certain things that, yeah, you feel like they should know, but they don't know. So
Yeah.
like
And the
an
most,
example would be like, so I heard this story before where the dad was talking to the daughter about her car breaking down. And she said, I don't know what happened to it. I don't know what's wrong. And the dad asked, well, when was the last time you got your oil changed on your car? Now, you're supposed to get your oil changed generally every 3,000 miles or so. And the daughter was like, what? What is that? And he says, your oil change. You have to get your oil changed around every 3,000 miles. And she said, you never told me that I had to get an oil change. You taught me how to drive. You taught me how to even put gas in the car, but you never told me anything else about cars other than that. So why should I know that information? Right? Or if mommy and daddy never taught you and brother how to wash clothes, but then you get to college and it's your job to wash clothes, most people would say, oh, it's common sense for you to know how to wash your clothes, but when mommy got to college, it was lots of other college kids that didn't know how to wash clothes because they were never taught how to. And so it kind of gets into the Gen Z stare is you think someone has common sense, which means they should know the answer to a question, but they don't.
Yeah,
They just don't.
yeah. Which, yes, mainly. And there was this one situation with a man. He was explaining it in a video, not at like the office building where he like had the interview,
Hmm.
but it was where he was at. It
Oh,
He was at his house.
okay. Okay.
So he was like, I was taking this interview, and then he said, well, you do not have experience. And then yeah, so in where should I get where should I get
Experience.
experience?
Hmm.
Then he's like, well, you need to get a job to get experience. And then he's like, well, I am applying for this job to get experience.
Hello.
Then he says, but you need experience to get this job. So then he's like giving,
Exactly.
so then he's like giving him like the Gen Z stare, and he's like, what? Then
Absolutely.
yes. So then he just flat out leaves, which I know that that would be bad if you're like getting an interview, but at the same time, for me, on the other note, you literally gave him a dumb explanation of how
Mm.
to get experience when he's trying to get experience.
Right, 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 right. I got you. I got you.
Yes.
So let's talk about no good deed goes unpunished. What's that about?
So that was mainly a it was mainly came from the song No Good Deed from Wicked for Good.
Mm,
It was
mm-hmm,
mainly Alphaba. I
mm-hmm.
only heard the audio. So people would do that, and they would either like dance to it because someone did make it a meme. It was called the No Good Deed.
Ah,
And
okay.
people would like dance to it, and it's like really good.
Hmm.
And then there was there were people that had the song in the background, and they were like singing as Alphabet saying "No Good Deed," like having captions at the top, and
Oh, wow.
it would be something like I give my parents a Valentine's Day card and I see it in the trash.
Mm,
And then like they're singing, I'll never do a good deed again.
right, right, right.
Yes. And then one where like they helped a student, and they were trying to help a student, but then they get in trouble when they had all their work done. And then they both got sent to the office because she thought that he was cheating when they weren't.
Oh my goodness. Okay, okay.
But then he's like, I will never do a good deed again. And that's
Hmm.
why some people don't like some older generations get mad when Gen Z doesn't really help with people because people have already shown them that they they get yelled at, and people get frustrated at them when they're just trying to do a good deed, and they just judge things from when they see, and they do not hear them out at all.
Gotcha. Okay, I
Mhm.
gotcha. I gotcha. So it sounds like a bit of
Yeah.
ungratefulness in there.
Yes. As if like a kid is like taking a test, right?
Hmm.
He he's like trying to get his like inhaler and something. Uh,
Hmm.
this actually happened. A teacher like yelled at him to like give him his phone or
Hmm.
like inhaler because he thinks that there was like mouth notes on it. And then like he needed his inhaler. So then I can't believe this happened, but like a student, someone was in football. It was in like his 11th grade.
Hmm.
Like a student had to actually tackle him to the ground
Oh, wow.
and take his take the inhaler out of his hand and throw it to another student to give it to him.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yes, and then that teacher did get fired for what he
Mm-hmm.
did.
Yeah.
And he just said that there was answers on it when they brought the inhaler in and
Hmm.
they searched all around it because you can't take the inhaler apart, I think.
Right, right.
And there was nothing on there except his name, his first
Mm,
last name.
hmm.
And he was trying to explain that to him that there was nothing on it and trying to show him, but then he just took it.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Wow, that's scary.
Even when someone needs it and it's a medical device that it's either the school nurse has it
Hmm.
or they are allowed by the school to take it with them wherever they are. And
Right.
sometimes parents tell them, you do not, you do not give your inhaler to the nurse to keep it with you at all times.
Hmm. Hmm.
Do
I
not
got you.
do not let anybody take it at all.
I got you.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
now help me out with this last phrase, run it. What in the world does
Which
that mean?
mainly run it, it's like people started using it now, which mainly when people like are getting ready to fight somebody, it's like they say run it so like they can start throwing hands.
Oh, I don't
And
like that.
same. And I'm just like, I know fighting's bad, but y'all could just say we're about to throw hands.
Or why say anything?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't like that. That feeds into a lot of culture of violence,
Yes.
like it's okay, like
Yes,
provoking someone almost.
that's what I thought too.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, look, I didn't know any of that before you shared it with me. I didn't know any of that at all. So that's good to know. And for those of us who are of older generations than Gen Z, now you can think about how you want to respond or if you need to respond when you hear that. So, like, if you're let's say, a school principal or teacher or administrator, now that you know what run it means, you might want to respond accordingly by making sure some students don't get themselves in trouble or get themselves in a situation where they can't get out of it, right? So, with that, I think it's important to pay attention to that. So, with all that being said, I'm going to encourage folks to share, share this podcast, this micro podcast, because hopefully this is going to be a bit of long form information that's useful across generations. And so we're going to be dropping every week, and sometimes we're going to be dropping a little bonus something if we have something that comes up we want to talk about, right, Traco?
Yeah.
And so, with that, remember whether you're Gen X, Gen Z, or some other age or stage, generation overlap wants you as part of this dialogue so that you can pull together the wisdom and the curiosity that cuts across all these different timelines of generations. So remember, two generations, one conversation, but a world of overlap. So I'll see you next week, Trego.
See you later, Dr. Gold.